Hi, welcome to the DIY Photo Organising podcast. I'm Fiona from Photo Helper.
And I'm Chantal from Simply in Order Photo Organising. Imagine you can find any photo at any time at the click of a button. We are here to show you how.
So let's get started.
Hi and welcome to our episode 3 of the DIY Photo Organising podcast. Today we're going to speak about our golden rule number 2, know your why. Because why do we have a why?
Yeah,
we need a goal, we need a why, we need a reason why we start a whole big photo organising project, because usually they are big projects. So what's your why? We're going to talk about that and also give you a few examples of possible whys, because there's a whole heap of reason why you want to tackle your photo collection. And of course, as always, we're going to share best practices with you. So Fiona, how about you start talking about why do we have a why?
Very good, very good. All right, so to help you explain why we have this as one of our golden rules, one of the reasons that we would be clear on why we're doing a photo organising project is to keep us focused when we're going down this path. There's so much involved in photo organising, really, and there's a lot of ways that people can get distracted.
Yeah.
And this knowing and being clear on what your why is will really help you keep focused as you go through that, because a photo organising project really can take anywhere from a few weeks up to even a year or more.
Yeah.
And keeping track on why you started in the first place will really help you achieve that goal. And I think when you're doing your own photo organising project, that's really, really important.
Yeah.
So we have a few ideas as to how to keep that focused, but that's why. That's why we do that. That's one of our main reasons. It also is really good to have a good idea as to why you're doing what you're doing, if you know why that is, because it will influence the decisions that you make along the way.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of different decisions that come up that you need to make, and that includes things like whether you scan, what kind of scanning you do, what software you use, what kind of a hub you get, what kind of a time frame and how much energy and effort you need to put into this consistently over a certain time, if your why sort of is a time-based thing. So it'll definitely help you stay on track. And it'll also, there's so many different types of software and things out there. And so when you're making some decisions, if you just keep that clear as to why you're doing this project in the first place, then those decisions will just become a little bit easier.
That's right.
Yeah. So what other influences or what other decisions will that influence, Chantal?
I think another one that you kind of mentioned before is a time frame. If our why is something like creating a photo book for a school reunion or something, there will be a date to it. So we might actually be in a rush and not have a whole year to collect photos that we need. So we do have deadlines, and again, the why that would influence that decision and how to go about that project, obviously. Another one could be, and we're going to talk about that in our golden rule number 4 when we talk about sorting and organising photos. Of course, there are so many different ways to do that. As always in photo organising, there is no real right and wrongs, probably. There are a few things that, yes, you can do really wrong.
Yeah.
But in general, you have to find what suits you best. And in terms of organising and sorting photos, that's, again, when the why comes into play, because that will help you make decisions as to how to approach that whole organising thing if you're very clear on why you're doing it and what you want to achieve with it.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Have you got other ideas too?
I think another thing that is important is to understanding and being clear on why you're tackling a photo organising project. Is because it's going to help you as you go through choosing even your favourite photos. So you may have a whole range of favourite photos, and that say let's just say someone's reason for doing a photo organising job is that they're putting together a memorial, say for a loved one. If that was say a 3-minute slideshow that was to be shown, then the number of photos that would be selected and the range of photos may be different if they were making a photo book, say, of that same person.
Right. Yeah.
And I think if they're really clear as to what their priority is up front, then they can, in their selection, maybe they've got 2 goals. One is to firstly do the slideshow and then to do, say, the photo book. But as they're making them the selection of favourites, it really is going to have a different motivation around those selection because they know why they're doing it and which one is a higher priority. So, again, it's really something that even by default we keep coming back to, but just to let everyone know that are listening about doing their own photo organising projects, just really be clear. Just know what it is. I mean, everyone would love to just have the ideal, have their photos organised. But if there's an outcome and they know what that is clearly, and it's something that is measurable, and they can write that down, then I think that's really going to help with these decisions as they're going along the way, and it'll just help you get the actual job done.
That's right. So, yes, it will make it easier. It's worth investing a bit of time to have a good think. Before starting.
Yeah, definitely. So, Chantal, can we maybe, if you can share with us some examples just to help people maybe as they're thinking about why they're doing photo organising? I'm sure as you're listening, you've chosen the podcast DIY Photo Organising for a reason. So that's a good start, whatever that is, but even just to be clear on that. But let's have maybe a think or some suggestions to people listening as to what some examples of some projects out there and some reasons why people get into photo organising of their own photo collection. And would you like to start to share some of those maybe examples of what some of those projects and outcomes might be?
Okay, so I think probably one of the most common ones from my experience in working with clients is photo books, especially probably yearbooks. Almost every client tells me, I want to do yearbooks in the end. So photo books is definitely a big one. That's a big driver and a big trigger. And also, I think photo books, it's got something, people just like to touch things still. And, more and more they come to the realization, if it's all on my computer, I never actually look at it. And especially children and adults alike, we just like to look through a photo book. So that's definitely a big one. That's what, from experience I can say.
And what kind of photo books do you see that people, some of the reasons why people make a photo book?
Yeah, a whole lot of different reasons within that one. So yearbooks is big. Then, for example, and one that I do myself is books of artwork from the children.
Fantastic.
Rather than keeping everything, I would take photos at the end of the year when they bring the whole portfolio home from school. I digitize the artwork, and one thing is a gift that I create for grandparents and godparents, but also a photo book for ourselves and for the children, obviously. And I'm not going to keep I'm not keeping all the artwork. Some of it I throw out. I only keep the best originals, really. But I see, it's really being appreciated, these kind of books.
That's great. Yeah, it's a lovely way to be able to deal with the piles of artwork that some families have around
that's another
house.
reason to really get rid of clutter too.
And just enjoy it and share it in a new, more modern way.
And you actually then look at it because, who's got all the space, all the walls that you need to put all the artwork up that they produce? It's a lot. So
that's very
there's
true.
you can't do that.
Yeah.
There's no
So
way.
this is a lovely way
Yes,
to be able to do that.
So how about you? What do you?
Yeah, look, I've seen also a lot of people with a photo book get quite creative. They do books for graduation. Maybe they've got they like to do a selection for maybe a milestone birthday.
Beautiful.
An 18th, the 21st, or maybe a 40th or 50th birthday, and it's a celebration over a duration of time. And so to actually gather those photos and select the favourites, or to tell a particular story, you need to be organised to actually be able to do that. So it is a job, and that's where I think knowing that up front, even just holidays, trips, travel, people have been on, and definitely the yearly book. And I think, hopefully what people will be able to understand by listening through our DIY photo organising in a variety of our podcasts will be that once they've got some structure in place and they've got their system set up, that these yearly books will just be so much easier to achieve.
Oh, absolutely,
And they can really, at the end of each month, and they can set up some structures in place for themselves to just start that creation at the beginning of the year, and then before you know it, it's it really is easy to have it done. It is
Makes
possible.
A huge
it
difference.
is possible.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably my examples from a photo book point of view. Some of the other things that I see as examples that people would have as choosing to do a DIY photo organising project would be, say, artwork on their walls, a whole range of collages, or just some beautiful prints of either a wedding or just family members, and historical photos that they want to, reshare and display, and slideshows, but things that are given as gifts. I think that's definitely something, and there's endless numbers, T-shirts, puzzles, key rings, mugs, keepsakes for grandparents, and digital photo frames. There's some great, there really are some great ways to display our photos now, and there's things are becoming more and more easier. They're easier for people to be able to do that, but the only way that they can really is when they're organised, and then they're able to just do that selection, and off they go, and they're there.
Yeah, that's true.
So what about some other things that you've seen as some project ideas and examples of why people do their organising?
One big reason is probably because people are afraid of losing photos. I have had a few clients that actually have lost photos for, different reasons, and they're very, very scared. And it was a trigger, to get help and to get organised. And their main reason in that would be not to create photo books or whatever. Their why is definitely to back up, to keep the photos safe, so that later on, long term, they can pass them on to their kids and what have you.
That's right.
So that's obviously a really big why, and in one way or other, I think that plays a role for everybody, because none of us wants to lose photos. So it is a huge, huge why, and a good reason to tackle that project. And as we said, in our last episode, with our golden rule number 1, which is backup. So even if it's all still messy and you're far away from creating photo gifts or books or whatever, back it up. So it is a huge, huge why. That's very, very important.
Wonderful. And another thing I think, as an example too, is even just people are aware to maybe capture family history stories. And that could be a reason why they're wanting to get organised, or to create something for a family member, maybe an elderly member that they're wanting to just even capture the family history and the genealogy, which is, a lot of people really find that as a project, and that's a huge project to tackle. And of course, within that, photos are a big part of that that project on its own. So the family history collection of stories and gathering of those photos is also another reason why. And if they're clear on that, then they can just take those necessary steps to organise their project based on those priorities.
And I'm pretty sure we're going to have an episode in the future about family history.
Yes,
because it is a very special topic, and it's a big topic. So.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, we'll definitely cover that. Books have been written on it and a whole range of stuff. So yeah.
Another reason I think one of the whys is because of the overwhelm, especially these days with the digital photos. I hear that all the time, people have so many photos. The sheer volume of it is completely overwhelming. Yeah. Even for us sometimes as photo organisers, it can be overwhelming. Yes. When we look at a photo collection with like 100,000 photos, that's massive. Yeah. It's big, but it actually starts to become the norm. So there, we need ways to deal with that and the need that people feel to stay on top of things and keep it under control, that's definitely also a big reason why they start photo organising projects. That's a big one.
Yeah.
What do you reckon?
Yeah, I agree. And I think too, when people... because there's two parts to that. One is the backlog.
Yes.
The mess.
Yeah.
Well, just the collection itself. When we talk about mess, we say that lovingly to people. Yes. Obviously, we're not saying that, that we think your photos are messy. We're just saying that there's files and new files and discs and hard drives and SD cards and everything.
Yeah.
So we've got the backlog, but then we've also got the ongoing how to manage the new photos coming in. And I think that is then a motivation too. So, and that's something that people can just start at least to get organised in their current month's photos.
That's right.
And that might be their goal. To just set up some structures so that they can at least manage and get rid of duplicates and get rid of blurry and all those kind of doubles and series shots, and just keep the ones that are a priority and start that process now. And then they can deal with all of that backlog at another time. So, but then again, that's different for different people.
Yeah. That's right.
Some people get stuck and can't organise the current because they have to deal with the backlog. So, again, it's just knowing why. What motivates you to start your project. Keep that clear, write it down, and share it with some. Share it on our Facebook page, even.
That'd be
something
awesome.
we'd love. Love to hear what some of those goals and things are. But I think being able to just know that up front is really important.
Yeah, that's true.
So maybe also just some of the best practices. Just finishing up on our podcast today, I think it's something that we can maybe share with those listening about some of the best practices in this area of our golden rule, which is knowing the why.
Yeah. So the best practice that we want to really, emphasis again is to understand your why. And this, by the way, can change over time. And you can have more than one goal. You might have one very specific goal, like creating a photo book, and that is bound to a certain date because of a celebration or what have you. But you might also have the goal to sort all your photos, or to scan your old family photos, or to share them. So there are always, I think it's safe to say, always more than one goal and more than one why. But it's important to take time and have a think about that. And not only thinking about it, but best thing would be to actually write it down. And you might have heard of SMART goals, and we're going to put a link in the show notes for you as a reference. If you can write down your goals and word them in that SMART way, chances that you're actually going to achieve them, and that you stay focused and you can go back to them and have a look again. that's
chance,
I wouldn't say it's key to success, but you've got a greater chance. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
And also, like we said before, another thing that we would say is one of the best practice in this area would be just to share that goal, share that reason why you're doing that with somebody else, just maybe with a loved one, a family member, a friend, pop it on our Facebook page, just sometimes that is just a good way to cement that in your own mind.
Yes.
And it also helps for somebody else to just come alongside and check in with you and help you be accountable to what it is that's really on your heart, the reason why you're doing what you're doing. But like we've said before, this can be an overwhelming project. It really is a big job to tackle in some people's family collections, photo collections. So just having someone to partner with alongside you is something which is a really important thing too. And I think it's also something too that we would encourage you to do, which is to be creative with these goals. Like we say, we've got more than one, so start small and then get bigger. There really is so many amazing things that you can do with your photos these days. And just, sharing is easier, video is easier, beautiful music behind photos, just and kids love seeing photos of themselves, don't they?
That's true. Yeah,
I think everyone does really,
right.
but most people, but kids really do. And when they're digital and they're stuck in your phone and your computer, they may flick through a phone or something, and they go, "Oh, isn't that cute?" But it's I think I can definitely remember as a kid, sitting there with your grandparents and looking at your photo, the old photo albums, and those sort of memories I think are really great. So dream about, be creative about some of the goals that you've got, and that they're possible. And also know that there's help out there. Obviously, as a professional photo organisers that we are, that's what we help people do. But on the journey of doing this yourself, there's a lot of great website links. There's, great software out there to help people do this. And I just really think that, I'd love to be able to see different groups of people get together like they did the scrapbooking kind of thing, where everyone would get together with their photos. But, in a sort of a modern day step up of that, being able to share what those goals are, doing it together as a project, independently working on stuff, but, as a shared goal of tackling the family photos.
And we're all in the same boat, aren't
we?
We should start that.
That's right. Actually, we should, if anyone's interested. Look, it's been great being able to share some of these ideas with everybody. And, we'd love you to jump over to our Facebook page and even just jot down some of those ideas and goals and just motivate each other. I think that's something that, hopefully we can help to provide out there in the DIY photo organising community, just to be able to share those goals. And again, it's been a pleasure being able to be on the podcast with you. And thanks again for listening to Chantal and Fiona with DIY Photo Organising.
Bye.
Bye.
We hope you have enjoyed this episode of DIY Photo Organising and found some inspiration, useful tips and strategies to support your photo projects.
We'd love to invite you to pop over to our Facebook page, DIY Photo Organising, and we welcome your questions, feedback and any future topics that you'd like us to cover. If there is someone you'd love to share this with, please click on share to help others take control of their photos too. Remember, have a look through our show notes for links to helpful information. I'm Fiona from Photo Helper.
And I'm Chantal from Simply in Order Photo Organising. And remember, we believe in you and you can do this.